Hi, my name's Craig West. I'm the CEO and founder of Succession Plus. We are the largest business succession and exit planning advisory firm in Australia. We've been working with business owners in the mid-market to help them maximise business value and achieve a successful exit for over 15 years. During that time, we've learned a lot, we've seen a lot, and hopefully we can share with you some of our experience, some of our knowledge, and the intellectual property we use to help business owners work through what is probably the most important focus area for an owner to work on. How do I maximize the value of my business and achieve a successful exit? Hopefully this webinar helps you understand some of those key issues you should be thinking about as an owner and helping you maximize the value of your business and achieve a successful exit. In this session, we're going to talk about family business succession, a clear balance between legacy and leadership, and covering off on both of those key issues. Because family businesses are inherently unique. These are complicated structures because we've got personal relationships involved. And often we have people wearing multiple hats. It's quite easy to be an employee, a family member, an owner or shareholder, and also a manager within the business. Now, there's 4 hats alone. And so the confusion that can create amongst which role or which hat we're wearing at any particular time can make these transitions far more difficult. There are nearly always in families lots of unspoken expectations and assumptions. There's history and legacy. There's the stuff that happened 5 years ago at the family Christmas party. And unfortunately, like it or not, that impacts our business decisions. That impacts our relationship with other family members, other owners, other employees. And so there is pressure here to try and preserve both the wealth and the relationships within the family firm. Succession cannot just be a business decision, it's also family related. And that's important. What we generally get is this combination or crossover of emotional and commercial tension. We need to navigate these two largely invisible forces. Typically, we have family members who have a fear of letting go. They're not sure what they're going to do after business. They're not sure how they get out, how it's funded, or actually what they're going to do when they're no longer the CEO or the patriarch of the family business. We also need to think about, on the other side, the need for renewal. The business cannot stay with an older generation forever. Everybody has to exit at some point in time. So we have to think about then not just the need for renewal, but also then how do we manage that next generation coming through? Are there issues about entitlement? And I've seen and met younger people who have an entitlement approach to taking over the family business. It's their birthright. And if you look at some of the larger, well-known in the media family succession issues, look at Murdoch, look at Reinhardt, you'll just see this tragic mess. This confusion between entitlement, the fear of letting go, the proven capability of those taking over, the whole succession strategy in some of those families has been mucked up badly. And in those cases, they're ending up in court. They're arguing with each other about who's got the right to what. Now, in those examples, the very sad fact is they're arguing over billions of dollars. In smaller, mid-sized businesses, we're clearly not talking about billions of dollars, but we're talking about the same issues, and that's why it's important. We're also thinking about the dynamics around equality versus meritocracy. Have we got someone who can actually take over and run the business? How do we protect that? We've got 3 or 4 siblings. Who's the right person? What role do the others play, and how does that integrate within our business? And obviously the parent-child dynamics are there as well, both in the family and in the business. And that's the clear issue. If they're not addressed early, those issues will derail even the most successful family businesses. Now, how do we think about succession readiness and development? One of the key things, and this theme is really about passing the baton, not just the share certificate. So how do we identify potential successors early? In our 21-step model, this is step 15, management succession. It should be the same in a family business as it is in any other business, but it's often not. We have to identify those potential successors early. We also have to confirm that they're actually interested, because often they're not, for whatever reason. We have to then develop those skills. We have to structure a training plan, exposure to various experiences, mentoring and accountability structures. Make sure that we've got that leadership skill development happening years in advance, not 6 months, not 6 weeks, years in advance to prepare that person properly. We have to create clarity around the various roles and functions. Who is the CEO and what do they do and what are they responsible for? Who is the chairman of the board? Who sits on the board as a non-executive director? Is there a family council and who is on that? And what is their role compared to the board, compared to the CEO, and how does all of that work together? We need to clearly set milestones throughout this process as part of the handover. And that's a key word. Succession is a process, not an event. And readiness needs to be the key focus all the way through. We have to also think about then the family governance structures. We talked about the business, CEO and board, but we also mentioned family council. Does the family have the tools to bring structure to emotion? How do we make our decisions using structure, accountability, and discipline rather than emotion? So is there a family constitution or charter? The same way that we set vision and goals for our business, have we got that set for our family? Vision and goals for the family to say, what are we actually trying to achieve? And what's our family business boundary? Some families are inherently good at this. Unfortunately, a lot are not. And in those cases are where we see really bad succession outcomes. Have we got a family council, which is a forum for decisions within the family? What investments are we going to make? Where are we going to put the returns from that particular business we sold? What are we going to do with the other assets that relate to the business? Are we going to sell the business but keep the property, for example? Those sorts of decisions need a forum that are outside the day-to-day business operations. What are our ownership protocols? If we're in a large family, we've got multiple generations, we may even have a blended family where we've got previous marriage and even kids or grandkids from a previous relationship, then how does all that work around entry, exit? Is there an expectation of ownership within the family business, or is there a structure that allows that to actually take place? And then we have to have a conflict resolution mechanism. What happens if there is a dispute or there is a disagreement about an investment decision or a business decision or something that we're going to do? How do we prevent future fallout from happening to us? Good governance should protect both the business and the family as part of the overall structure. And then ultimately, we need to think about our ownership structures, because now we're talking about ownership across multiple generations. Many baby boomers started their business 20, 30, 40 even years ago. They started in a simple structure. They didn't need much more at that particular time. But when you fast forward 30 or 40 years, we've now got a large operation. It's a large trading business. We may have purchased some other assets like property or plant and equipment. We may have even purchased other businesses during that time. We've now got a much larger structure. So we need to think about who owns what. In what structure do we own those assets? Should the business be in the same structure as the property? Probably not. How do we protect that? How do we make sure that we've got defined ownership? Are we using trusts? Should we have a shareholding structure where we've got separate voting rights? How do we define those roles for owners to make sure that everything's protected? And lastly, buy-sell agreements and unplanned events. At some point, something may go wrong. How do we make sure that we've got clarity around what the structure is, what the rules are to prevent that turning into a crisis tomorrow? That means you have to have independent advice. I have not seen ever a family-owned business that manages without external advice. You cannot mediate your own family. The main reason being you're part of the problem. You're internal. You're part of the family. Therefore, it's very difficult to do. What you need to do is make sure all voices are heard. We have to bring structure, discipline, and accountability to those very emotional discussions. We have to present assumptions and resentment from shaping our future. We have to have control of those decisions. We have to make sure also that we've got the legals right, we've got the tax right, we've got the commerciality right, so we know what that looks like. It should be about your advisor guiding the process, not choosing sides with you or even choosing the outcome, but helping you achieve the outcome that you want for your family and your business on the way through. Certainly thinking about, do you have a documented plan? What family structures are in place? How are we wearing these different hats within the family, the business, the ownership group, and the management team? And how do we align those governance structures, those roles and responsibility with some clear rules to make sure you get and the family gets the outcome that you deserve from the years of hard work in your business? Thanks for joining me for that session. I hope you found it really interesting and informative and hopefully helpful for you in your business. If you want to find out more, there's a stack of resources available on our website. That includes white papers, ebooks, and other webinars like the one you've just seen. Also, feel free to reach out. I've got a team of advisors who are experts in the various areas of business succession and exit planning. They're here to help you. Feel free to reach out, touch base with one of my team. I'm looking forward to being able to help you maximize the value of your business and achieve a successful exit.